Settlers at Korora in the nation's capital told to evict land as per court order. Minister Masiu officially opened Pacific ICT dialogue in Kokopo. Teachers Savings and Loan Society announced partnership with Oracle Banking suit. A very good evening. You're watching National MTV News. I'm Godwin Eki. Thank you for joining us. Settlers living at Kororora's new block towards June Valley have been instructed to evict the land as per court order by the Supreme Court last year. The National Judicial Services, who are the plaintiffs, have been issued eviction notices since last year. Over the weekend, the settlers have voluntarily removed their properties, including houses and food gardens.
These are some of the settlers of new block right at the back of Korora towards June Valley in the nation's capital. They say they were not given ample time to evict the land as they were only told during the weekend to evict. This land portion, about 150 hectares, belongs to the National Judicial Staff Services or NJSS. According to Deputy Sheriff, eviction notices were issued last year. However, the settlers remained on the land. The NJSS have now decided to develop the land for its home ownership scheme, hence this eviction exercise. Joshua Eric is from the Enga province and has been residing here for over 7 years now. He spoke to us about their thoughts on this eviction.
7 years we've been living here and this land belongs to customary land. But somehow the National Judiciary Staff of Papua New Guinea, they got the land title. But it's still under the court process and they came and evicted us. So hopefully we've been accepting the eviction notice and we started demolishing our building already. And our concern, the evicted settlers here, our concern is we want people from the lands department to do the proper survey, and after the survey done, we can leftover areas, we can go and settle there. That's our one main concern for settlers. I speak on behalf of the settlers here.
More so, these settlers claim that this is a customary land sold to them by the traditional landowners and they have documents with them. They say they will challenge the decision to evict them at the courts. Lindy Suharupa, National MTV News.
Deputy Sheriff of the National Judicial Staff Services, Winnie Killa, explained that they have given ample time to the settlers since last year to vacate the land for development of NJS's housing scheme project.
The main purpose why we wanted to capture the sheriff office is because the public must also know that there's a sheriff office where we engage in doing eviction exercise. And we do it in a way that is professional. So we coordinate and take certain steps in how we execute the order. As a result, you will find that the eviction is done in a humanitarian way where we don't have any physical confrontations with the tenants or the public that are on the land.
Papua New Guinea's Minister for Information and Communication Technology, Timothy Masiu, officially opened the Pacific ICT Heads Dialogue in Kokopo, East New Britain Province yesterday evening.
Minister Masiu was accompanied by his counterpart from New Caledonia, Vaimua, Muliava, and other representatives from various Pacific nations and Australia. They were given a warm welcome by traditional dancers and choir group at Tokwa Airport. Waiting to meet them was Governor for East New Britain, Michael Marum. Governor Marum, in his welcome speech, acknowledged the ICT department for having confidence in the province to host such a program.
The province, thank you, Minister, Honorable Timothy Masiu, for having trust in us in hosting such events in bringing the meeting across to East New Britain. Again, as you all know, East New Britain is
Minister Masiu highlighted in his opening remarks that the Pacific region is a vital player in ICT, and such dialogue will serve as a critical platform to discuss challenges and opportunities faced in the region.
We'll recall that we met at the sidelines of the conference. We realized that there is a greater need for us to stand together as smaller island developing states with one voice to push our agenda through international fora. And so we have come together today.
The minister further elaborated on the importance of ICT and how it empowers economic growth.
In today's interconnected world, access to digital technologies and the internet has become an essential component of economic growth and development. ICT is not only about enabling the creation of new businesses and industries, but it provides us with the tools to enhance our public services and improve our ability to respond to emerging security challenges as well.
He said the region is faced with a unique set of challenges, especially in ICT infrastructure and connectivity, and added that it is vital that the region collaborate to address these challenges.
It is we face as a region in this rapidly changing world. By collaborating and sharing our ideas and resources, we can make the most of the potential that technology has to offer us. More importantly is the question on how we resource and sustain the common proposals that we bring to the table. We acknowledge the importance of digital transformation in driving economic growth and addressing security concerns in our region, the Pacific region. We recognize that our region faces unique challenges.
One of the key outcomes of this dialogue would be the establishment of a regional ICT network that will help the region to build infrastructures necessary to support the region's collective security and economic growth. It is understood that the Pacific ICT Ministerial Meeting will be held in May this year. Sharon Engnui, National MTV News.
Members of the Teachers Savings and Loan Society today announced the onboarding of Oracle Banking Suite for its banking transformation journey. Oracle Banking Suite is among the top banking software trusted by more than 600 banks in 140 countries. It brings with it years of research, development, and experience in the global banking domain. Its implementation will result in a robust back-office engine complemented with easy-to-use digital channels that will help heighten the Tisa customer experience.
As part of Tisa's plans in establishing a bank, this society has required this new core banking system, Oracle FlexCube, a world-class banking system. Present at the joint press conference today were the group CEO and Chief Operating Officer for Tisa with the proprietors of the Oracle FlexCube system and the implementation partner who will assist the society implement the system.
Thanks, Marcus.
My pleasure.
This collaboration with Oracle and implementation partner Province is expected to provide the required impetus and support for the Tisa's roadmap and strategic endeavors. The group CEO of Tisa, Michael Koisen, conveyed that it is crucial to remember that Tisa's vision statement, not for profit, not for charity, but for service, remains the cornerstone of its existence. He said they thrive by serving their members, and that is how they have sustained their operations for the last 50 years. Mr. Koisen says they will provide sustainable, value-based and customer-centric financial services and ensure that their 50-year-old DNA and culture are preserved when they become a full-fledged commercial bank.
Tisa, as you know, is very much attached to the ordinary people of Papua New Guinea. That's our DNA, that's our background, that's our history, that's where we come from.
The selection of Oracle Flex Cube and Province went through a very robust process, and it took them almost 6 to 7 months to complete the whole process. CEO Koisen said 80% of PNG's population is unbanked, and one of the key strategies of Tisa Bank is to reach out to the unbanked population.
They need services, banking services. Banking in the country has been for more than 100 years. And yet, majority of our population do not receive banking services. And that's a challenge that TISA is willing to take up and will take up to provide banking services to the majority rural population.
The Vice President of Consulting Oracle Financial Services stressed that they believe that they can help TISA reach the large population which is unbanked in PNG. He believes they can help TISA employees to be more productive, and he looks forward to a successful implementation phase.
We believe we can help TISA providing an experience for their customers that is second to none, comparable to any other bank in the world. We believe we can help TISA reach the large population which is unbanked within PNG, as Michael alluded to, through our solution.
Estagane, National MTV News.
National MTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National MTV News. Telecom Limited is relaunching its new and improved cheap mobile data and cheap home data plans commencing today, Monday, the 13th of February 2023. Since its inception over 3 years ago, this saw a huge drop of data cost of up to 87%, making data instantly affordable for the average Papua New Guineans for the first time in the country's history.
Telecom Limited, Papua New Guinea's 100% nationally owned telecommunications company, is proud to be relaunching its new and improved cheap mobile data and cheap home data plans. For mobile customers, there are 7 data plans on offer. 1 GB for 3 kina, valid for 1 day, 2 GB for 5 kina, valid for 3 days, 5 GB for 10 kina, valid for 7 days, 15 GB for 30 kina, valid for 14 days, 35 GB for 55 kina, valid for 30 days, 80 GB for 100 kina, valid for 30 days, and 120 GB for 150 kina, valid for 30 days. For ADSL and GPO and service customers, there are 5 plans to choose from. 12 GB for 15 kina, valid for 14 days, 50 GB for 50 kina, valid for 30 days, 80 GB for 75 kina, valid for 30 days, 125 GB for 100 kina, valid for 30 days, and 200 GB for 150 kina, valid for 30 days. The telecommunications company, in response to customers' demand, has revamped its cheap data plans. With its solution to improve their services and products to customers nationwide, Telecom strives to offer better added value for its customers. While Telecom has relaunched its cheap data plans in time for Valentine's Day, it states that these are permanent product offerings which can be enjoyed by customers on Valentine's Day. Grace Papiali, National MTV News.
The Office of the Solicitor General has announced preparations that are underway for the Highlands Region Client Outreach Program, which is set to commence on the 27th of March 2023 at the Mbongu District in Southern Highlands Province. Solicitor General Tauvasa Tanuvasa and his team made the announcement today at the Office of the Solicitor General in Port Moresby.
As part of educating and providing awareness to the public service fraternity on the laws of the country, including representation in court, the Office of the Solicitor General, with its client outreach program, has set the precedence with its client outreach program facilitation since last year. The recent regional one was for the New Guinea Islands region, which took place in Kokopo in October of last year, and for the Royal PNG Constabulary Provincial Police Commanders last month in Port Moresby. Following a recent trip to the Imbongo district in the Southern Highlands province, Solicitor General Tauvasa Tanuvasa announced that they are looking forward to reaching out to the people of the Highlands region.
As I said, Monday 27th of 2023 will be the opening, and then that sets us up for Tuesday 28th to 30th of March 2023, that's when the workshop will be conducted. We're interested to hear what we have to say in terms of the law, and also what the recent laws are and how it applies to them in their daily lives is important. It's really targeted to the public servants who are at the provincial, national level, provincial level, and district level. And we hope to see some of the districts and the provincial governments coming, their key people coming down to Imbongo for this three-day workshop.
Solicitor General Tanuvasa further mentioned that they are expecting a huge turn-up for the workshop.
Expect people to learn as much as they can from us. Of course, all of this is all free of charge. We're all doing this in partnership with the district and the provincial government. We're hoping that the Southern Highlands provincial government will also support this as well. We have written to them, to Governor Powie, and it's something that's going to help with the province, and then the province can then also be a big beacon of light to the rest of the country.
Grace Papiali, National EMTV News.
The operations manager for NCD Disability Advocacy Agency, Benson Tegia, stated that calling people with some form of impairments to their bodies as disabled people is simply degrading and disrespectful of rights, values and integrity of people with impairments. He said it's the abilities, skills and talents that count and matter. The term they prefer is persons with impairments.
Benson Tegia is a person with impairment who has been promoting independent living for the last 28 years following his spinal injury in 1995. He supports his own way of life regardless of his physical impairment. Together with another person with impairment, Donna O, they were demonstrating what it means to live an independent lifestyle. Donna O is a person with visual impairment. He was helping Benson Tegia, the person with physical impairment, to get on his wheelchair from his car while directing him.
Okay, it's not very ideal.
Mr. Tegia uses a special device in his car to drive using his hands alone. He said they don't need the help of other normal people, but they can help themselves with the technology that is now made available.
These scenes are really to tell our people, a wider coverage Papua New Guinea, to realize that there are people with impairments in this country that exist, and that together, people in leadership, in community, private sector, people in all forms of businesses and sectors in communities should really embrace that people with disabilities, impairments do exist.
He stressed that people with impairments or PWIs are not disabled people as they are referred to at most times. They have some form of impairments. He said, together we can declare PNG free from stigma and discrimination on the basis of disabilities.
You'll find that I'm just trying to avoid using the word disabled. We are trying to phase out a little bit from some of the languages that discourages, that degrades us a little bit, that feels us different to the rest of our populations.
He said disability is when a person with impairment comes into contact with the attitudes of people, the language they speak, the environment that they set up, and the perceptions that they hold that complicate their access to the man-made barriers. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
More police manpower is needed in Western Province to conduct good policing within the 4 districts respectively. This is to ensure ongoing social law and order problems are reduced to maintain peace and harmony. Provincial Police Commander for North Fly Command, Senior Inspector Owena Afeke says social issues faced within the province can be reduced if people behave well, and good order is not only the work of the police officers but for every citizen.
People of North Fly District, Western Province, for their good behavior. I think we should maintain this status quo into future, and we encourage our young people to stay out from all those behavior, social behaviors that can breed fear into our society. So far, it's good behavior in relation to in a place, civilized society.
The National Control Centre continues to urge the public that the risk of COVID-19 still looms in the society. Hence, NCC has increased manpower in its vaccine task force team.
In operation since 2021, the Vaccine Task Force team continues to deliver and monitor the administration of COVID-19 vaccines in Papua New Guinea. The team is allocated the task of ensuring Papua New Guinea exceeds its current vaccination rate to meet that of the world standard as set by the World Health Organization. This was expressed today by the Deputy Controller and Executive Director to the Vaccine Task Force, Dr. Downey Esserom, in a brief to the task force team. Dr. Downey said vaccines are available and it is important that all health centers be continuously encouraged to make the vaccination accessible to the public so that more people can get vaccinated. Working alongside the Public Health Authority and lead partners, the Vaccine Task Force team will be traveling to selected provinces starting next week to ensure the public uptake of COVID-19 vaccine. Amanda Ilaitia, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the NES Fund Market report, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.2840 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, Yokina was buying $0.2765 $0.3963 Australian dollars, $0.2514 euro, 35.88 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York closed, gold is trading lower, coffee closed higher, cocoa closed lower, copra closed lower, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading lower, and copper closed lower. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Moving to overseas news now. Earlier this month, the US destroyed a suspected Chinese spy balloon, and now Washington is on high alert after another unidentified object was shot down.
Well, this is certainly a very interesting and evolving story. I think the US approach has become, shoot first and ask questions later. And I think that's, they've been sort of pushed into that situation from what's happened in the last, week and a half or so.
But the US this time reacted much faster to these, to the latest balloons than it did to the first one. It's taking little time now, as you say, in shooting them down. Why the change in the response when the first one appeared? It took, a few days before it took action?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of factors there. So that first balloon seems to have been much larger than these later balloons, and it was also flying at a higher altitude. And so I think when the risk assessment was being made as to when and how to shoot down that first balloon, it was a key consideration about damage to property and people on the ground with it being so large. These later balloons, I'm hearing, are about the size of a car. They're still quite large, but it's about a factor of 10 smaller than that first one. And so I think that's made it easier for the U.S. to go ahead and take them down earlier. And then also in the U.S., there's been a lot of political pressure to address these unknown objects more rapidly than the first case. And so I think it's a combination of these factors.
So, Ian, do you have any doubt that all these objects are so-called spy balloons launched by China?
More than 30,000 people are known to have died in the Turkey earthquake.
A border and a catastrophe shared, but in the earthquake's aftermath, Syria and Turkey couldn't be further apart.
We've just crossed into Syria. At the border crossing, there were about a dozen aid trucks, fuel tankers, coming in. But actually, there were more refugees, more corpses coming out than there was aid coming in here.
The main street in Idlib's harem is gone. They waited for help here, but none came. It was here that Fadel Gadab's aunt and cousins' families all died.
There
is no one alive here. Everyone is dead. We just need them to come in and dig the bodies up for burial. I don't know what else to say.
We travel further west. There are no aid convoys here, few signs of relief, but a lot of urgent need.
This was the town of Basania. These were people's homes. They were newly built, but look at it now. 80% of this village is gone, and they've had hardly any help since the earthquake struck.
More than 100 homes have gone here, and much more besides. Abu Allah lost 2 of his children.
I started running like a madman in the streets, shouting, "Dear God!" It was then that I saw my wife and 7-year-old daughter alive. I kept on running in the streets until I saw them. She told me my children were gone.
2 people have died in a house fire in south of Adelaide in Australia this morning.
Afternoon, Ros. Well, it was just after 5 o'clock this morning that emergency crews were called to the property behind me in Edwardstown, which is about a 15-20 minute drive south of the CBD. 22 firefighters were needed to fight the blaze, although it did take them just under 10 minutes to extinguish the fire. The fire was contained to just one room in the house, although smoke did cause extensive damage right throughout the house. You might be able to see behind me remnants of soot on the exterior of the house. It was in that room where the bodies of 2 people were discovered. And just as we've been talking, Ros, we've seen the coroners arrive at the scene. Police, MFS, detectives and crime scene investigation, they've been here all morning. We heard from police a little bit earlier this morning. They said investigations are in the very early stages, although the focus of the investigation will solely be on those 2 people that were found inside the house. The police are treating this fire as suspicious. As I said, it did happen at 5 o'clock this morning. We spoke to neighbours. They were very shocked at the news that they heard this morning. Police at the scene today described it as being very confronting for first responders. Here's what police had to say.
And the unfortunate part of being an emergency response is that you are generally exposed to things that other members of the public aren't. But the thing is, we have the training, we have the resilience and support for people who attend these incidents. Certainly SAPOL do, and I'm sure MFS would as well. But this is where we help those who are involved. We make sure they're okay.
All flights in Auckland, New Zealand have been cancelled as residents are being warned for more wild weather.
Yeah, sadly we are preparing for a bit of a storm as Cyclone Gabrielle makes its way down our country. It's almost a bit of an eerie feeling in Auckland this morning. That's because all residents have been told to bunker down and avoid all unnecessary travel. We also see a big disruptions to our whole travel network. All trains have been cancelled until 3 p.m. today. Buses are running on a reduced timetable and ferries have been cancelled as well. Out at Auckland Airport, which saw some really bad flood damage just a few weeks ago, all flights have been cancelled in and out of our domestic and international terminal. On top of that, yesterday supermarket shelves were almost reminiscent of COVID-19 and lockdown times. Shelves were empty because Aucklanders have been told for about a week now to prepare for this storm. Everyone should have about 3 days worth of food and supplies, a week's worth of medicine and water as well. Civil Emergency Management has set up, I think, around 27 welfare centres across Auckland. That's for people to evacuate to. That's just because so many people were already displaced from the floods last week. So I think the idea that there's almost a double down of this weather and the more intense wind, it could really cause a lot of damage across the city.
National MTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The annual SP Sports Awards was officially launched today by the SP Sports Board of Management and the PNG Sports Foundation in a press conference held at the Sir John Guy's Indoor Complex in Port Moresby.
This year, 2023, will be the 31st year of the annual SP Sports Awards program since its inception in 1992. The nominations are now open as of today, the 13th of February 2023, and will close on the 24th of March 2023. SP Brewery Corporate Affairs Manager John Neil Carre presented the 11 categories to which the nominees of the 2023 SP Sports Awards will be categorized under.
So John alluded to, so it's the Male Athlete of the Year, Female Athlete of the Year, Team of the Year.
The nominations for this year have now been moved online to make it user-friendly given the age of technology, and there are 3 stages to filling the forms. The reasons as to why SP Brewery has chosen to convert the nominations to online is being detailed by Mr. Neil Carre.
Thank you. It gives me great pleasure to stand here once again on behalf of the South Pacific Brewery and participate in the launching of the 31st Sports Awards.
In acknowledging the SP Brewery Board of Management for their continued partnership throughout this program with the PNG Sports Foundation was PNG Sports Foundation Executive Director Albert Veratau, who had this to say.
This Sports Award is recognizing not just achievements but also recognizing those achievements as inspiration to the next generation of our sportsmen and women.
Meantime, SP Brewery is still accepting both digital and written nomination forms before or by the 24th of March 2023. The presentation night will take place on the 27th of May 2023 at the Crown Hotel in Port Moresby. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
One of the popular off-season competitions in NCD, the Hoola Suburban League, has commenced its top 16 finals playoff over the weekend at the Hoola EP Park, Port Moresby.
The Hoola Suburban League held its top 16 tier competition for its men's division. The competition has not witnessed any disruptions all throughout and expects to maintain this until the competition ends. An highlight of the games competed over the weekend was presented by Hoola off-season president Kambi Ingiman.
Top 16 first play final, top 16 game round good no big block Korora fight do kind of so me play finishing the first play top 16 next week me play going to top 8 do me play.
With the completion of the top 16 last weekend, the competition anticipates to play its top 8 this coming weekend as the other half of the top 16 bow out of the competition. For the women's division, they have been given this week off as they prepare to head into their top 12 knockouts. The same concept utilized in the men's division will be used in the women's finals playoff as well. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. The last leg of the Hoola Rugby League State of Origin match will be contested on the 4th of March 2023 as per advice from President Kambi Ingiman. This will see the top 2 teams in the competition go head-to-head to compete for the inaugural 2023 title. Having successfully hosted its rounds 1 and 2 matches of the State of Origin during its normal rounds, Hoola off-season Rugby League President Kambi Ingiman says they are now preparing to host their last and final match come 4th of March.
Round 3 balo match 4 and which grand final or Lily Gold trophies now lawat bambla give him blues and maroons.
He said while the top 2 teams prepared themselves for the big day, Hoola off-season Rugby League Board is happy to announce that the decider of the State of Origin match will be sponsored by local member Lohia Boy Samuel.
Antalen and big thank you Northwest member Lohia Boy Samuel, which I'm sponsoring this blues and maroons. Now big one off-season and Governor Honorable Paus Pakop and Starbucks and Saboti Mibla Odisha. Full entire off-season, both women's division, men's division, all that.
Ingiman said the concept of the State of Origin match was to give credibility not only to the standards of the competition, especially coming from an off-season competition, but to also recognize top-performing teams in the competition. He added that the State of Origin match was also seen as an incentive for top teams to be recognized for their participation, hard work and commitment. Ingiman said with this being the first year for the State of Origin concept to come into fruition, next year is expected to be bigger and better. Moving to overseas sports now in cricket, India is off to a great start at the Women's T20 World Cup in India.
In South Africa, this match was in Cape Town. Pakistan batted first and managed 149. Bismar Maroof was 68 not out from 55 deliveries. Pretty incredible stuff. The crowd getting right into it, though. India reached the target with 1 over to spare. Jamaya Rodriguez with 53 not out from 38 deliveries. With Richa Ghosh, they had a 58-run partnership together. So a pretty dominant performance in the end for India. Sri Lanka beat Bangladesh by 7 wickets in the other match as well. So, yeah, a very solid start for India. In the NRL, it was an all-out for Queensland Derby Day as the Dolphins drew the Cowboys and the Broncos drawing the Titans. It was a draw in the end. Pretty exciting stuff. Way to kick off there. First match against NRL opposition, 22-all against the Cowboys. The Cowboys levelled the scores right at the death of the match. The Dolphins rather looked like they were going to be winning this one. Only a sprinkling of NRL talent amongst both teams. Some of the star players, most of them, in fact, getting a rest up there for that match in Cairns. And the Titans 24, the Broncos 24. Another draw as well. The Broncos led by 24-6 at half-time, but took a number of their stars off. And that ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, Port Moresby mostly fine, partly cloudy. Daru squally showers. Kerema mostly fine, partly cloudy. Alatau few showers and possible thunderstorm, then partly cloudy. Popondetta rain showers and thunderstorm. In the Momase region, Lae, Wewak and Vanimore brief showers and partly cloudy. Madang few showers and possible thunderstorm. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau cloudy with brief showers, Kavieng rain showers and thunderstorm, Kokopo and Rabaul rain showers and thunderstorm, Kimbe few showers and thunderstorm, Buka cloudy periods with few showers. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen City few showers and possible thunderstorm, Goroka and Kundiawa cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorm, Mendi and Wabeg cloudy with brief showers.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Monday, the 13th of February 2023. From the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.